So last week we talked about composition and I gave you 5 things to think about. The main subject, the eye's journey, balance, dimensions, and naturalness. It was more theory, so today we're going to go and be doing some more practice. I'm going to walk you through my complete thought process while composing this shot right here. Enjoy!
For this to be helpful, you need to really pay attention to the footage here and listen to what I'm saying and how it correlates with my composition. And maybe in the back of your head, think about how this can all apply to your next photo shoot. How would your thought process be in your next photo shoot? So right here we have our canvas. It's a black backdrop, and on this black backdrop we're going to be putting a couple of things. Our first thing is our main subject. But before we continue, it's good to gather all the props that we might need. This is the container that the cookies were originally in. Here are 3 wooden boxes from small to medium to big. An oven pan that you make cookies on. A cookie rack. And of course you should always have some plates of various styles in hand. A cute little wooden board that I have found useful in many occasions. Here are various kinds of objects that I might pour milk in. This one even has a matching style with one of the plates, so that's pretty cool. A selection of cloths that I might use. And finally I have these little chocolate Hershey bars just laying around the house. I think I can put them to use, so let's see. First thing I'm going to do is put the cookies onto the plate. And I picked this plate because I like how the black rims kind of match our backdrop. In my recent cookie photos, I've been placing the main subject in the dead center. So today we're going to do a little bit different. I'm going to put the cookie on the bottom right third. Alright, let's just zoom out a tiny bit of a bit and make sure our cookies are in focus. Perfect. I'm looking at the image and I realize the light is coming from the right. But often it's more preferable to have the light come from the left. So let's do a quick switch around. I don't like how the light is hitting the cookies. So let's turn it around. And while I'm turning around, I realize that the order of the cookies is also not so great. Ideally, we'll have the larger cookies on the bottom and smaller cookies on the top, so it can form a nice tower. Alright, perfect. Our main subject is as good as it can be. Now let's add some props. I really like the connection between the white box and the white plate. They're both white. Currently, I'm having trouble deciding if I should put on the left or the right. The left creates a nice shadow, but at the same time, I kinda want it to be brighter. Eventually, I decided the shadow is a little bit too much. I'm going to further the connection between the two by putting cookies on the white box as well. However, it seems a little empty, so let's scale down the box. Right now, the right side of the image is definitely way too heavy, so let's balance it out by putting a prop on the left side. Unfortunately, even though the pan is so much more bigger than the 2 props on the right, it's blending in too much with the background. So the right side is catching too much of our interest. It's white, it's bright, it's catching the eye too much, and so our right side is still seems a little bit heavier than the left side. I think it's best if I switch out the white box with something a little bit darker. I now realize we have an excellent opportunity to frame our main subject, the cookies, with the pan and the cookie rack. So let's bring the pan down a little. This is also creating some great layers. We have the cookies, the main subject, predominantly in the front. We have the pan predominantly in the middle, and we have the cookie rack kit predominantly at the back. Now I think we can start adding some smaller props. I have 2 large chunks of negative space right here in the front and right here in the back. Let's see what we can put there. The front seems a little bit too small to put anything decent sized, and it's taking away too much attention from our main subject. So let's try putting it in the back. Yeah, that's much better in the back, but I realized we still aren't able to see what's inside of our container, so let's switch it out for something transparent. I'm going to add some milk. Usually when you eat cookies, you have some milk. Now let's stir it up a little so it's a little bit messier, a little bit more natural. You know what, let's also try to make our main subject a little bit more natural, try to stylize it some. I'm going to take a bite out of it, add that human element. Although placing it on its side does make it a little bit more natural, I do not like how it's creating that shadow right there, so let's just keep it on top. But we can still create some nice cookie crumbs, and I think that will make it a lot more natural, not so uniform. Now let's deal with our smaller patches of negative space. Really the only thing that I have that will fit are these little chocolate bars, so that will just have to work. You can see I'm also placing some chocolate on the cookie rack. For one thing, it's always good to try and stack things on top of each other and create those top-down layers. But also the cookie rack just doesn't have much visual weight. It's blending in way too much with the backdrop, so it's always good to add into some sprinkles of chocolate that kind of bring back that visual weight that should be there. Here you can see I'm kind of just experimenting with multiple props. I don't want to use another piece of chocolate to fill that negative space, but nothing else is really working well, so I think that will have to do. As I said, the top right corner really is blending way too much with the backdrop and there's almost no visual weight there, so I'm just going to add a piece of baking paper. Yeah, at first glance, the top right corner originally just seemed like another patch of negative space, so I think this will help out. Not to mention it adds yet another layer of props, which adds some good complexity and is great for the dimension aspect of composition. Some quick tweaks here and there. You might be wondering, why the hell is he adding flowers to this scene? And I don't know, I think I saw some other food photographers doing it and I thought it looked really good. I wanted to try it out, so I tried it out, but eventually I decided, yeah, it doesn't fit well with the scene, so I took it back. Instead, I'm going to add a piece of cloth at the top right corner. I'm also going to shift the camera to the left. This will eliminate the negative space on the right side of our main subject. What this also does is it creates some nice negative space on the very left, making it easier for the eye's journey to enter the image, which is usually from the left. However, I do think our main subject is now a little bit too close to the border on the right side, so I'm going to move it to the left side some. Even though now it's not at the center of our plate, it does fit better to the rule of thirds if I move it to the left some. Finally, I'm going to turn off all the annoying artificial light in my house. Right now I'm just using window light. And we're all set.
If you found this helpful, remember to like, and if you want more food photography tutorials, remember to subscribe. See you next week.